Okay, let's go. You want to start the show?
Não.
Okay, I'll do it.
Para quem escutou o episódio de ontem, logo no comecinho, eu dei a novidade de que o nosso Sound School está aberto. E tá mesmo, gente. Vai lá se inscrever no nosso curso de pronúncia maravilhoso e de técnicas de conversação, totalmente feito para nós, brasileiros. A gente fez isso com muito carinho e a gente quer que você faça parte da família. E também, como eu tinha falado ontem, do dia 18 de novembro até o dia 22 de novembro, ou seja, você ainda tem uns diazinhos aí pela frente para aproveitar o nosso super desconto de 30%. É muito bom, então vá lá aproveitar. É só clicar no nosso site, inglês&nbsp, e se inscrever ainda hoje, tá? Então é isso, aproveitem!
Testing. Cool.
Olá, bem-vindo a mais um episódio aqui do Inglês Necro Rádio. Muito bom estar com você aqui. E eu vou dar meu recadinho diário. Meu recado diário é para você que ainda não se inscreveu no Cambly, ainda não tem uma conta no Cambly, vá lá aproveitar e conhecer essa plataforma incrível. Essa plataforma incrível que a gente tanto fala aqui tem professores de inglês, ou seja, professores nativos de língua inglesa 24 horas por dia lá te esperando para você ter aulas. E qualquer nível pode. Se você está começando, se você já entende, se você quer avançado, se você quer se aprofundar em alguma outra coisa. Então, é só acessar cambly.com, C-A-M de Maria, B de bola, L-Y, ou o aplicativo do Cambly e colocar o nosso cupom que é Inglês no Cru Podcast. Desse jeito você pode ter uma aula de graça e aproveitar ao máximo isso tudo aqui que a gente anda falando, tá bom? Então vá lá aproveitar. Now, on with the show!
Hello, hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Inglês no Rádio. I am your host, your guide, your cult leader, your savior.
Your host, I would say co-host.
Co-host and spiritual leader, Foster Hodge.
Okay, now we have a cult.
Yeah, that's what I've always wanted.
Uh-huh.
You asked me to do the intro. Okay, Alexia, so let's get straight into it. You recommended the topic for today. So what are we talking about?
We are talking about confidence.
Confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, so a good place to start before we get into the meat and potatoes is the pronunciation of the word confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah, the first sound, that is the ah sound, just like prato, chat, confidence.
Confidence.
At least in American English. That's the way we pronounce it.
Okay.
Cool. So, Alexia, what is confidence to you? How do you define it? Why are we talking about this?
Because I think that a lot of people are scared of like taking the first step to get better with their English because they are not enough confident.
They're not confident enough.
They are not confident enough, or because they are shy.
Okay.
And they get these two mixed.
They mix up shyness and a lack of confidence?
Yeah.
Okay. And you think those are different things?
I think that they can walk along. They can complete each other, but sometimes you have a lot of confidence. You know that you have a good English. You know that you can do it.
You speak English well. No one has an English.
And you get shy because you don't know how to deal with social things or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a super shy person. I'm very introverted and timid.
And for example, I just make a lot of mistakes right here, like in the first 5 minutes of this episode, but I continue talking because I am confident enough.
Okay. So you're confident in your English abilities?
I am.
Okay. And when you think about confidence, especially in regards to speaking a new language, what does that look like or feel like for you?
It's to be able to communicate with anyone that I want in any kind of situation, even though I don't know the exact words and I don't know how to say some things. It's to be able to communicate in any kind of situation for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would define it a little bit differently, perhaps just because I'm a very shy and anxious person in general. But for me, especially with languages, when I feel very confident with my Portuguese or Spanish, it's really like the lack of anxiety and nervousness. Like I know if I can just have a conversation with you in Portuguese, I don't have to think about it. I'm super relaxed. I don't get anxious at all. That's like the ultimate confidence for me, is no anxiety. I don't have a feeling of I can conquer the world.
But I think it's almost the same. Because if you don't have the anxiety, you're fine. If I'm not afraid of talking to people and I'm not afraid of making mistakes, I am fine as well.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people just see confidence as like this inherent difficult thing to achieve. And they say, oh, I'm not a confident person. Yeah, I'm not super confident either. But if I'm having a conversation and I'm not having a panic attack, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Low expectations is the key to happiness.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that with me, the problem is when I get shy in some situations.
Yeah, for sure. So probably the most common thing that people ask us and our students or people write us emails or Instagram stories, that kind of thing, is I get super anxious when I speak to native speakers. So essentially, like 90% of people are suffering from this, and it's a totally normal thing when you're learning a new language. Why do you think people have this issue?
I think, first of all, we Brazilians, we are doing a very, very good thing for us that is trying to get better and better with our English every single day. So
Woo-hoo!
This is amazing because we are doing this. We are speaking a second language.
Right.
So I think that being vulnerable in another language or in another country, whatever, makes you feel very anxious and very afraid of that situation. And that's why everything stops working in your mind.
Right.
So
Right.
I think I am very, very bad with situations that I don't know, and I suffer from anticipation a lot.
Right.
But nowadays with my English, I am completely fine because if a waiter comes to me and asks, would you like your meat medium rare or whatever, I know what to answer, but like 3 years ago, I didn't. So it's a part of a process as well.
Yeah. It's definitely the more that you are exposed to a situation, the easier it is to be confident in that situation and the less anxiety you will have. I think there is I'm not a psychologist, but exposure therapy is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So Alexia, I kind of have a theory. So people always say, I get really nervous when I talk. I get really anxious. And then I say, why? Why do you get nervous? You speak well. Why do you? And the answers I receive are always, I don't think they're the true answers. Like, oh, I have a lack of vocabulary, or I don't know how to structure phrases in the past, and I have a lot of difficulty with that. But I think if we're really being honest, that's not why people are nervous.
No. They're afraid of being vulnerable. That's it.
Yeah.
In every situation, if you think about it, even in Portuguese, it's like getting out of your comfort zone. Who likes that? No one likes that, but you gotta do it.
Yeah. So the way I describe this is just the fear of sounding stupid. I think most people are super anxious and nervous that they are going to have a conversation with the native speaker and it is not going to go well. And for some reason, the native speaker is going to judge them and then they are going to feel stupid. And that is scary.
And there is a phrase that I like to say every now and then. Can I say it like this?
Yeah, every now and then.
Yes, because we are always afraid about our English with native speakers and how it's gonna sound to them and etc. And I think like it's an exercise that we had to do it every single day. Instead of saying that it's so frustrating that they don't speak English, say it's so frustrating that I can only speak English. That's a way that people who only speak English should think about it and not us. Because we are there. We are putting our faces to be tested every single day.
Yeah. There is some famous phrase. I don't know verbatim how to say it, but something like if someone is speaking with an accent, that means they're not speaking their first language. That means they're super smart, you know? Yeah. So essentially, when I think about anxiety, or nervousness, or I don't want to speak with people, it's two things: the fear of being judged or sounding stupid. And then on the other hand, you do have a little bit of performance anxiety. And that just means getting nervous in the situation. And that's a totally normal thing. Like if you have to speak to a big group of people at a family gathering for my family, you would still get a little nervous.
Of course.
Yeah.
Every single time. But it's different because I want them to like me and it's your family. But if I were, I don't know, I think there are different situations that would make me nervous and not. If I'm going to a mall and I have to speak to a salesman or a woman, I would be fine. I wouldn't have any problem with that because, hey, I want to buy your stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So you should treat me well.
The situation, the circumstances are very important. So we're talking about all of these things, all of the reasons people lack confidence. Do you want to talk about what people can do to help this situation?
I can only think about one thing.
What?
You have to start talking.
Yes. Exposure therapy. The easiest way to do that is talk to people. That will give you more confidence. You will recognize, oh, I can do this. And you will know what you need to improve.
Yeah. Because if you're not out there, even if you are in Brazil and you don't have the money to travel, that's fine. You have a lot of resources that you can go and test your English. We already did an episode about it. I don't remember which number, but I'll put in the show notes.
For sure. So my number one recommendation would be focus on your pronunciation. And I know that seems a little bit strange to some people, but if my theory is correct, that most people are scared and nervous of sounding stupid and being judged, the easiest way to gain a lot of confidence is to sound really good.
Yes, and I want to say one thing here because this time here in the United States is the very first time that a lot of people are telling me that you don't have an accent at all.
Yeah.
Your English is amazing. It's the first time that a lot of different people are saying the same thing for me. And I think that 2 times happened when Foster was by my side and he was really proud of it. But right now, I want to thank myself for that because without not the wanting, but the
desire.
The desire of getting better at it, I wouldn't be able to be where I am right now. So,
yeah. How does that make you feel when someone says, oh, it doesn't seem like you have an accent, or maybe someone doesn't know where you're from? Does that make you feel good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like my accent. I do. I think that it's important when you have an accent and no problem at all. But for me, as I want to sound as neutral as I can, like with my accent, and it's a thing that I'm getting there finally.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people will say, but Alexia lives in the U.S. and she's been doing this for a long time and she has studied English forever and has Foster. But I think this is also super important, even if you're starting out. I remember when I first started learning Portuguese, I focused on the pronunciation, on the sounds of Portuguese, and I could just say some very simple things, but with a relatively good accent compared to most gringos. So I could just say like, oi, cara, tudo bom? And people would say like, oh, your Portuguese is pretty good. And that gave me so much confidence to say, okay, maybe I can try to continue this conversation.
Yes, so the main point here is like you just have to start talking and put yourself out there. I don't think that there is no other way of doing it.
Yeah, just 2 things I would add, 2 other very useful tips. Number 1 is create scripts, so roteiros, just to practice as much conversation as you can, even if you don't have a conversation partner.
Speaking of that, we have a student that I don't remember which one, but she was so nervous about taking a first class at Cambly because it's one of our challenges during Sound School. And I was saying to her, like, you just write in a script, know which points you want to talk about it. You don't have that much time with this teacher. So go ahead and write before. And then she went to class. She sent an email after, like, Alexia, you were so right. The class was horrible because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about because I didn't have a script. And it was a disaster. So I'm going to do another one. And this time I'll have a script.
Yeah, I love that attitude. Yeah, I really cannot overstate the importance of scripts. It has been extremely useful for me in learning languages, and it just makes conversation so much easier. That's something we work on a lot in Sound School, creating your scripts for different situations, improving them, and really making you more confident.
Yes.
And
the
what
second
else?
one.
Oh, I had one more point, that receive feedback from a native speaker or someone that speaks English better than you. I think most people will be pleasantly surprised when you actually receive feedback from someone. So it can be very scary because you have the feeling of being judged. But most of the time, it will be positive feedback. And if it's not positive feedback, you will have room to grow. You will know what you have to improve. So I know it can be scary putting yourself in the spotlight, but I can't say how important it is.
Yes, I think it's like learn how to be vulnerable.
Yeah, I would say be honest with why you were nervous and anxious in the first place, and that will help you think of solutions that can actually make you more confident. If you're super anxious, will studying a lot of grammar rules make you less anxious in your next conversation? No. Will memorizing new vocabulary words? No. So really think about, what is the problem? Are you scared of sounding stupid? Train your pronunciation. Are you having performance anxiety when you have conversations? Go have a conversation.
Yes.
It's not rocket science, but it can be pretty difficult.
And always remember, you are doing a good thing learning a second language or a third language, and that's amazing. And you are already, I don't know, not a vencedor, but you are already there, you know?
You're already a champion. You are a rock star. You are beautiful. You are loved. We love you. Sound School is still open, new applications. If you want to be more confident, do it, beautiful people.
Come on. Be our student.
They're not puppies.
Maybe.
Come on. Okay, we should probably stop there for today. Anything else, Alexia?
No, everything is fine.
Awesome. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Ciao.
Muito obrigada por ter escutado mais um episódio aqui do nosso Inglês no Micro Rádio. E como vocês já escutaram lá no comecinho, o nosso Sound School está aberto. E é com muito amor e carinho que a gente fez esse curso especialmente para vocês. E a gente está muito, muito, muito feliz de ter aberto de novo esse curso maravilhoso. Aproveitando que tem desconto da semana do dia 18 de novembro de 2019 até o dia 22 de novembro de 2019. Ou seja, você pode se inscrever ainda hoje no Sound School com 30% de desconto. E como é que você faz isso? É só indo no nosso querido site inglêsnicru.com e lá vão ter todas as informações. E também é só você ler as nossas show notes, porque a gente vai colocar o código, vai colocar tudo direitinho aqui embaixo. Então é isso. Aproveitem, se inscrevam e venham fazer parte dessa família maravilhosa que é o Inglês de Cru.